Hello, it is Sunday, January 14th. Normally when I do these weekly wrap-ups, I, wait until after I, shower and, put on real clothes. But I'm just like, you know what? Not today. So this past week, I read 8 books. So let's kind of get into them. The first book that I read was We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is my first full-length novel by Shirley Jackson that I've ever read. I read The Lottery when I was in 8th grade. In English class, of course, but I've never read any of her novels. And what this book follows is these two sisters who live in a kind of isolated home, and they are very much outsiders in their town because a couple of years ago, one of them was charged with killing their entire family with poison. She was acquitted, but she was still charged, and so everybody's kind of on the edge about them. They also have an uncle who survived the poisoning, and he's just hanging out for a while. But mostly those two. And this was sad more than anything. I'm gonna say, it was deeply sad in a lot of ways. Just the relationship between the two sisters was tragic. This is a fucking tragedy. I mean, Jackson is seen as one of our kind of classic horror novelists. And yeah, sure, there was the horror elements, and my god, I hated what's his fucking name. Charles. Yeah, get rid of him. My god, he was awful. We'll probably give this 5 out of 5 stars. It was very well done. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody who's read Shirley Jackson, but this is very, very fucking well done. After that, I read The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. This is the sequel to A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which I read years ago. And that book is about this young man who lives in a very abusive home, and he and his little friend, his little friend who he's in love with, decide they're going to go on a tour of Europe, and they take his little sister along with them. And this book follows the little sister, and they're like pirates and stuff like that. She wants to be a doctor. It was good. This girl was fucking crazy. This girl was nuts. There was so much going on. Mostly what this made me want to do, though, was reread the first book. That's what this made me want to do. It made me want to reread the first book. I'll give it 4.75 out of 5 stars. I think that Mackenzie Lee, I've been realizing something as I've been, whenever I go to Barnes & Noble, there's so many LGBT books set in the 1800s, and I was thinking, why the hell are there so many LGBT books set in the 1800s? This woman, it's because of the success of The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I know that there's another one after this. I do own it. It's in the book closet somewhere. But I don't think that any of this one nor the other one got as popular as Gentleman's Guide, and I'm pretty sure that's why. Either way, 4.75 out of 5 stars. After that, I decided to cut my teeth on just a nice little young adult contemporary novel. That is Save the Day by Morgan Matson. I read Since You've Been Gone a while ago, again, years and years ago. But this follows this very large family, and this family has been kind of institutionalized in this comic strip that their mother draws, and it's a very popular comic strip, and it's about all their hijinks and stuff like that. And now it is time for the oldest daughter to get married, and so they're having their wedding right now because they're about to sell this big house that they've been living in for years and years and years, that this comic strip was based on. There's also some estrangement of one of the older brothers, so there's some stuff going on. This girl is figuring out where she's going to college, everything like that. She's the youngest. The main character is the youngest of this family, and I really enjoyed it. I think Morgan Matson is really, I know she was real big there for a hot second on BookTube in the mid 2010s. I think that was deserved. This book was cute. I liked all the side characters. They were very distinct. JJ was my favorite. He was the best. And yeah, overall, this is a solid young adult contemporary. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Alright, after that, I read a young adult thriller that is The Eyes of the Forest by April Henry. And if I had to give this book a 1-sentence description, it is they miseried George R.R. Martin. That's what this book is about. This book follows this girl, and her mom is dead, but she one thing that she really connected with her mom with is that her and her mom were both really into this this big long fantasy series. And the thing with this fantasy series is that people are like, are they ever going to finish the series? Is book 6 ever going to come out? I don't actually know if it's book 6. I'm just thinking about Game of Thrones. And so what she is she has actually, she's reread these books over and over and over again so that she can feel close to her mom still. And she ends up becoming an assistant, like a research assistant almost, to the author of these books. And then a fan of the author ends up kidnapping him and miserying him. They misery George R. R. Martin. That's what they do in this book. It's fun. This is my second April Henry book. My 5th graders are nuts about April Henry. They love her. She is their favorite author. And I understand why. They're fast-paced. They're unique. They're a little dark. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 3. I don't remember. 3 or 4, something like that. After that, I read a Stephen King book that I haven't read yet, which is super exciting because there aren't very many of those left. I read Holly. So this is the newest Stephen King book. It came out last year. And it follows Holly. Again, this man loves Holly. And she is hired to find this woman's missing daughter. And as she looks for this woman's missing daughter, she ends up discovering that there are a lot of other people who have disappeared in around the same place years and years apart, so people never made a connection, and none of them are like the same demographically, so people never made a connection. But she starts thinking that there's something that might be connecting them. And you can't really talk about this book without talking about the fact that people are so mad that Stephen King is a liberal. Stephen King has always been a fucking liberal. My God. Have you... Did we read The Dead Zone? You know, like... I don't think it's out of character for Stephen King to write something like this. Is it his best work? No. It's fine. It's not his worst. I still think I don't hate, but Bag of Bones and The Tommyknockers I still liked way less than this. And I'm sure I'm reading Desperation right now. I think I like this more than I'm liking Desperation, and that's on a reread. I've read Desperation before. So it's like people are so upset about the fact that Holly, who is established to be neurodivergent, is so worked up about the COVID pandemic. This book takes place in 2021, my guy, and she's got so many anxieties. You think she and it is said here her mom dies of COVID. Like, are we thinking she's not going to be worked up about the COVID pandemic? Like, that just seems like I feel like a neurodivergent woman whose mother dies of this disease and already has so many anxieties surrounding so many things. I think it's kind of natural that she would be worked up about COVID, and people are upset that the villains are these anti-vaxxer things. And it's like, Stephen King has never been subtle with his villains. How many times has he dropped the N-word to show you that somebody's a villain? It's constant. You know, like, so it's just like, I feel like the people who are saying this are the same people who are upset when they learn that Fight Club and American Psycho are written by gay men. Like, these things have always been a thing. You just only realized it now because you're still worked up over shit. You know, it's okay. You know, it's not a bad one. I think that it was, I think it's really funny how as Stephen King gets older, because the man writes what he knows, and right now he knows about being fucking old. And so these elderly people in here, when we're seeing this from his point of view, we're just so in depth about all of their aches and pains. I think it's kind of funny. I think it was really sad, in a lot of ways. I really enjoyed how he made you really like these people that you already knew were dead. You know, like I thought that was good. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It's a solid. It's not bad. You know, it's definitely not the worst. It's not nowhere near the best, but it's not his worst book. You know, it's not bad. 4 out of 5 stars. Oh, speaking of bad, I read a bad book. This week. Memories by Francine Pascal. I'm still working on. I still have a handful of these in the book haul. Oh my God. This is about the twins are trying to get their older brother to forget the fact that he had a girlfriend because she's dead now and he needs to get over that. And as well as that, Jessica is trying to go after Winston, who is my favorite character, because she heard that he has an uncle who makes movies. 1.5 out of 5 stars. It was terrible. After that, I reread The Lightning Thief. I read this with a group of my 5th graders. So we just finished this one. Yeah, no, it's Percy Jackson. You can't. This was, you know, this has been an institution for, you know, years and years and years. For those of you who don't know, for some reason, Percy Jackson is a middle grade series following a 12-year-old who learns that he is the son of a god, and then all the adventures and everything like that. And it's good. It's good. You know. After that, I did finish up The Storm We Made by Vanessa Chan, and this is a historical fiction novel set during World War II. And instead of following the Holocaust, which is what the majority of World War II novels do, this does follow the Japanese occupation of Malaysia, and all the horrors that the Japanese were doing. Because the Japanese did some fucked up shit during World War II. Like, they were awful to a lot of people. And this follows this family, and we get point of views from the mother and then all three of the children. So we got the mother, and a lot of the mother's point of views are in the past because she has some secrets about things that she maybe caused some of the stuff to happen. And then we got the oldest daughter, who is the responsible one. She's working at a tea shop. She's trying to keep her family together. We've got the son, who ends up disappearing immediately in the novel, like, because a lot of these teen boys are disappearing. He's like 15, he disappears, and he ends up, a lot of his chapters are from like a work camp. And then we've got the youngest daughter, who's like 7, and she is basically, she's kept hidden away because they don't want her to be taken to use as a comfort woman, basically, because a lot of these people who are going after these comfort women were people who were going after comfort children. Like, we shouldn't call them comfort women. They were 7, 8, 9. This was really fucking sad. I didn't quite cry. I almost cried several times. I think in terms of interest, I liked all the kid chapters. The mom chapters sometimes could get a little, I don't know, I didn't like them as much. Abel's chapters, the brother, they were all sad, they were all sad. Probably Abel's and Jasmine, the youngest sisters, those were probably my favorites. I gave it, 4.75 out of 5? 4.75. Currently I'm reading Desperation by Stephen King. This is a reread. I'm like halfway through. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading. One thing that's fun is that I did realize, as I was reading this, I came across a character named Cynthia whatever. Ames is the last name of the guy she hangs out with. And I'm like, oh, she seems really familiar. I looked her up, and she's from Rose Matter. Of course she's familiar. These are the books I read this past week. That is all for today. I will talk to you later. Push you up there a little bit. I'll talk to you later, and goodbye.